The mini puzzle. The puzzle that stares you down each Friday at 5 p.m. The puzzle that gets its name not from its size, but from how mini it makes your brain feel. The puzzle that's worth the most points to solve. The mini puzzle is more complex than its fellow rebuses, logics, and cryptics, and are more diverse in what you might encounter. They are often directionless, and may incorporate smaller puzzles within them, such as rebuses, logics, cryptics, crosswords, and more. They also typically have some flavor text, which you will very soon learn is your best friend. All this may seem intimidating, but mini puzzles can usually be broken down into just two main steps: the initial solve and extraction. Now, the initial solve involves solving whatever puzzle is immediately available. This could be as simple as solving a logic or filling in a crossword, but can sometimes be a bit more tricky. Let's take a look at an example. In this puzzle, we see a boggle grid with seemingly random letters. At first glance, you might not know what to do, and that's okay. You might start by trying to find some words as you normally would in the boggle board, and after looking for some words, you'll eventually find an element or two. Continuing on with this train of thought will lead to the discovery that the board contains the 4 elements platinum, mercury, zinc, and nickel. But this is not the final answer, for now we must extract. Extraction is a process of taking what you got from the initial solve and somehow turning it into something answer-worthy. The key to extraction is the flavor text, where the method to extract is almost always hinted at. Let's pick up where we left off earlier and take a closer look at the flavor text. One word that might stand out is table, referring to the periodic table. When we take the 4 elements from before and find them on the periodic table, they form something like this. Now, we still don't have an answer just yet, so looking back at the flavor text one last time, you might notice the word middle could have some relevance. And sure enough, in the middle of our 4 elements before, we find the word silver, the final answer to the puzzle. Let's take a look at one more example before I set you off alone into the wild. First step, the initial solve. Looking at the different lines, you might notice that they're all different groups of things. And looking at the flavor text, in this case the title, first might seem like a pretty important word, so let's try taking the first thing out of each group. The first Bond novel is Casino Royale, the first element in the periodic table is hydrogen, the first part of Dante's Divine Comedy is Inferno, and so on and so on. Now, don't be afraid to use Google to help you, as there are bound to be things you don't know from time to time. On to extraction. We've got a list of words, but need to somehow make a word or phrase out of it. For this puzzle, the flavor text is quite minimal, but once again, first is really the only stressed word. Let's try what we did at the beginning and somehow use the first of each line. This time we'll be taking the first letter, which gives us our final answer, chicken or egg. Now, mini puzzles can be tough to solve, so don't panic too hard if you find yourself stuck from time to time. Take a step back and try and tackle the problem from a different angle. Perhaps you misinterpreted some flavor text, perhaps you missed some crucial information, or perhaps your brain is just a puddle of goo and you need some time to rest. Anyway, I wish you luck on your mini puzzling journey, and may you score weekly online puzzle comp points galore.